On January 3, 2026, the international political landscape was dramatically reshaped when Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, were captured in a U.S. military operation in Caracas. The extraordinary event, ordered by U.S. President Donald Trump, has sparked widespread debate both domestically and globally. Among those voicing strong opposition is the newly inaugurated mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani, who publicly denounced the action and its legal, moral, and geopolitical implications. Mamdani, who took office just days before this development, reacted swiftly after being briefed on the military operation. In a direct phone call with President Trump, the mayor expressed his profound disagreement with the decision to seize a sitting head of state through military force. In his public statement, Mamdani argued that the U.S. assault on Venezuela represents a blatant pursuit of regime change and constitutes an act of war that violates both federal and international law. He emphasized his opposition to such actions, stating that unilateral military interventions undermine global norms and set dangerous precedents for international relations. The mayor's remarks were delivered both in person at a press event in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and through his social media platform. During the news conference, Mamdani made clear that his objection was rooted not in support for Maduro's policies, but in concern over the legal and ethical ramifications of the operation. He underscored that the use of military force against a sovereign nation without congressional authorization or broader international support undermines existing frameworks designed to preserve peace and stability. Mamdani also highlighted the potential local impacts of the U.S. operation. As mayor of one of the most diverse and cosmopolitan cities in the world, he pointed to the significant Venezuelan community in New York, many of whom have friends and family still in Venezuela. The mayor expressed his concern that the military action could fuel fear and uncertainty among New Yorkers with ties to Venezuela, and he pledged that his administration would monitor the situation closely and offer guidance to affected residents. The mayor's stance places him at a notable point of contrast with the Trump administration. President Trump, in announcing the capture, framed the mission as part of a broader effort to enforce long-standing U.S. indictments against Maduro, including allegations of narco-terrorism and drug trafficking. Trump asserted that the United States would oversee Venezuela until a formal transition of power could be arranged and hinted at opening the country's oil resources to American energy companies. Mamdani's criticism also reflects broader concerns about the legality of the operation. Under the U.S. Constitution, decisions to engage in military action typically require approval from Congress, and critics have argued that the assault on Venezuela circumvented these safeguards. Mamdani echoed these concerns, describing the intervention as an overreach of executive authority and warning that it could weaken global trust in established diplomatic processes. Locally, other New York leaders have joined in the outcry, though for varying reasons. Figures in state and federal government echoed concerns about the lack of congressional oversight and the potential for escalation. Protests also erupted in parts of the city, with demonstrators decrying what they called an unnecessary and dangerous conflict. These demonstrations reflected deep divisions in American public opinion, where support for aggressive action against foreign leaders often clashes with fears of entangling the United States in prolonged foreign conflicts. Mamdani's decision to confront the president directly is particularly noteworthy given their historically complex relationship. During the mayoral campaign and transition period, Mamdani and Trump have engaged in both sharp criticism and unexpected cooperation on various issues. Yet, in this instance, their differences on foreign policy, especially regarding the use of force, came into stark relief. While some international leaders and analysts have praised the removal of Maduro as a blow against authoritarianism and narco-trafficking, others have sounded alarms about the broader consequences. The questions remain about what comes next for Venezuela's governance and how the United States will manage the political fallout both within the region and in its own domestic forums. For Mayor Mamdani, the focus remains clear, ensuring the safety and well-being of New Yorkers, particularly those from vulnerable immigrant communities, and advocating for a foreign policy that adheres to legal and ethical standards. His outspoken stance on the capture of Nicolás Maduro marks one of his earliest and most consequential public interventions as the leader of America's largest city.